The interstellar war between the Zaroff Dominion and the human coalition had lasted 17 long years. Ships burned in the black. Planets turned to ash. Billions of lives vanished in flashes of light. Both sides grew tired. The Zaroff could not push deeper into human space. The humans could not push the invaders back. Peace became the only path left. The Zaroff High Matriarch named Lyril Voss spoke the words no one expected. She would marry a human. The union would bind the two peoples. Blood and name would seal the armistice. No more fleets would clash. No more colonies would die. The human leaders agreed fast. They chose one man to stand as groom. His name was Elias Kane. He came from a small colony called New Tacoma. His file said he worked in logistics. He moved supplies. He counted crates. He kept records. Nothing special appeared in his past. Medals. No battles. No fame. Lyril read the profile and felt cold. They sent her a nothing. A plain man with plain hands. She accepted anyway. The war had to stop. The ceremony happened on a neutral station, high above a dead moon. Bright lights filled the hall. Admirals stood in rows. Diplomats watched with tight faces. Lyril wore her black armor. Gold lines marked her rank. She carried no flowers. Elias arrived in a simple gray suit. His shoes made soft sounds on the metal floor. He looked at her once. His eyes stayed calm. No fear showed. No pride showed. They spoke the vows, short words, clear promises. Peace through union. The voices echoed off the walls. When it ended, hands clapped slowly. No cheers rose. No music played. Guards led them to private quarters. The door closed with a hiss. Lyril removed her helmet. Silver hair fell free. She turned to the man she now called husband. He stood near the window. Stars moved outside. He did not look at her. Instead, he pointed to the couch. "You can take the bed if you want," he said. "I will sleep here." His voice stayed even. No demand lived in it. Lyril stared. She expected duty. She expected force. She expected many things. Not this. "Why?" she asked. "Because you did not choose this either," he answered. He pulled a thin blanket from the shelf. He made a bed on the couch. Then he sat down. He opened a small book. Old paper pages turned under his fingers. Lyril watched him read. The silence grew thick. She walked to the bed. She lay down in full armor. Metal pressed against her skin. Sleep refused to come. Her mind turned over the day, the vows, the station, the man on the couch. And steady. He did not snore. He did not move much. Morning arrived with station lights. They rose without words. Breakfast came on trays. Simple food. Bread. Protein paste. Water. They ate at the small table. Faces close, but eyes far apart. Lyril broke the quiet first. "You will live on Epsilon Verge with me," she said. "The joint capital. Our new home." He nodded once. "I will go where you need me to go. No complaint. No question." She felt strange anger rise. "Why do you act so small?" she asked. "You are human. Your people fought like demons, yet you sit here like a shadow." He closed his book. He looked at her straight. "I am tired of fighting," he said. "That is all." She did not believe him. Not fully, but she let it drop. They left the station together. A shuttle carried them to the surface. Below, green continents, blue oceans, twin suns in the sky. The palace rose from a high plateau, white stone, tall towers. Banners of both empires hung side by side. Humans and Zareth worked the halls. Some smiled, some glared, most stayed silent. Lyril led Elias to their shared wing. Large rooms, high ceilings, windows that faced the sea. He looked around. He touched nothing. "This is bigger than my old house," he said. Almost a joke. She did not laugh. Servants brought clothes. Human styles, Zareth styles. He chose the plainest shirt and pants, gray again, always gray. That night they stood on the balcony. Wind moved her hair. Wind moved his short dark hair. She spoke of the council tomorrow. Many voices, many demands. The peace must hold, she said. He listened. He nodded. Then he asked one question. You, like the stars. She blinked. What? The stars, he repeated. Do you look at them and feel something? Or do they just sit there? Lyrael turned her face upward. Lights burned in patterns. Old worlds, dead worlds, living worlds. I see power, she answered. I see what we can take. He smiled small. I see stories, he said. Each light holds a tale. Some end happy, some end in fire. She studied his face. No lie lived there, only quiet truth. For the first time, she felt curious. Not angry, not cold, curious. Who are you really, Elias Kane? She asked inside her mind. She did not speak it aloud. Not yet. Days passed. They shared meals. They shared rooms. They shared nothing deeper. He read books every night. Old Earth stories, poems, tales of knights, tales of lost ships. She watched from her side of the arm. Bed. Armor stayed off now. She wore soft robes. Still he took the couch. Always the couch. She stopped asking why. One evening after council, voices had shouted, accusations flew. A human admiral called her people monsters. A Zereth general called humans weak. Elias sat silent through it all. He drew no attention. He spoke no words. Afterward in their quarters, she poured strong drink. She offered him a glass. He took it. They stood by the window again. The sea rolled dark below. Why did you stay quiet today, she asked. You could have spoken. You are half of this union. He sipped once. I have said enough in my life, he answered. Now I listen. She felt frustration rise again. You hide, he said. You hide behind silence. Maybe he agreed, or maybe I just want quiet. She stepped closer. Her height matched his. His. Tell me one true thing, she demanded. One thing that is not a lie. He looked back. No flinch, no turn away. I never wanted to hurt anyone again, he said. That is true. She felt the words land heavy. Again, the word hung between them. She did not press. Not that night, but the seed planted. Curiosity grew roots. Suspicion grew beside it. The peace held, for now. Ships stayed in docks. Guns stayed cold. But the galaxy watched. It waited. It whispered. And Lyrael Voss began to wonder, just who slept on the couch in her room. Just who she had married to stop the war. The answer waited hidden, deep inside a quiet man. Behind gray clothes, behind calm eyes, behind a past he refused to show. She would find it. One day, she would find it all. The peace lasted only a few short months. Small attacks started again. Rogue Zereth ships broke away from the main fleet. They called the marriage a shame. They said the Dominion bowed too low. They hit human outposts on the border. Fires lit up the night sky on 3 worlds. Refugees fled in crowded transports. News feeds showed the damage. Burned cities, broken ships, crying children. Lyrael watched the screens in the council room. Her hands clenched tight. She spoke sharp words to her generals. Find those ships. Stop them now. The peace must not break. Elias sat at the far end of the long table. He listened. He said nothing. His face stayed calm. No anger showed. No worry showed. The council argued loud. Human voices rose high. Zereth voices answered back. Blame flew like knives. One human admiral stood up. Lyrael, your people still kill ours. How can we trust this union? A Zereth commander slammed his fist. Humans started this mess long ago. We only finish what we began. Elias watched it all. He drew no eyes to himself. When the meeting ended, everyone left angry. Lyrael walked back to their quarters. Elias followed quiet behind her. The door closed. She turned to him fast. You said nothing again. Not one word. He hung his coat on the hook. I listened, he said. Listening is not enough, she snapped. They question our marriage. They question me. They question you. He walked to the window. The twin suns dipped low. Orange light filled the room. What do you want me to say? He asked. Tell them the war is over. Tell them to stop. Tell them we chose peace. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped low. I need my husband to stand with me. Silence. He looked at her then. His eyes met hers straight. I stand with peace, he said. That is all I have left to stand for. She felt heat rise in her chest. She turned away. That night, the worst attack came. A Dominion strike force hit a human refugee convoy. The ships carried families, old people, children, no weapons, no soldiers, only hope. The attackers fired without warning. Bright beams cut through hulls. Explosions bloomed silent in the dark. The feed reached Epsilon Verge live. Screams filled the speakers. Metal tore. Air vented. Bodies floated free. Lyrael stood frozen. Her face went pale. The council room filled again fast. Everyone talked at once. Orders flew. Ships launched, but too late. The convoy was gone. Only wreckage remained. Lyrael spoke to the room. This ends now. We hunt those ships. Bring justice. She looked to Elias. He had not moved from his chair. His hands rested flat on the table. His eyes fixed on the screen. Then he stood. Excuse me, he said quiet. He walked out. No one stopped him. Lyrael watched him go. Confusion touched her mind. Where does he go now, she thought. Hours passed slow. The palace buzzed with activity. Scouts searched for the attackers. Reports came in piece by piece. Then one report stopped everything. The lead Zareth dreadnought went dark. No signal, no explosion, no trace, just silence. More ships followed. One by one they vanished from sensors. No distress calls, no debris, nothing. Lyrael demanded answers. Her intelligence officers shook heads. We do not know, matriarch. It makes no sense. She paced the command floor. Worry grew inside her. Then the door opened. Walked in. His gray suit hung torn at one sleeve. Bruises marked his face. Blood stained his knuckles. But the blood looked fresh and red. Not his own. He stopped in front of her. They will not do that again, he said. Simple words. No pride, no threat, just fact. Lyrael stared. Everyone in the room stared. What did you do? She asked. He looked down at his hands. Old habits, he answered. He wiped the blood on his pants. It left dark streaks. She stepped forward. Tell me, now. He met her eyes. I went out. I found their command ship. I went inside. I ended it. Her breath caught. How? He shrugged small. Ways I know. Ways from before. She felt cold run down her back. Before, the word echoed again. She remembered his quiet nights, his old books, his calm voice. She remembered the couch. Always the couch. Guards moved closer, hands on weapons. Elias raised one hand slow. No need, he said. I come back to stay. Lyrael waved them off. She looked at the blood again. You killed them. All of them. He nodded once. The ones who gave the order. The ones who fired. The rest ran. They will not come back. She felt the room spin a little. The man she married, the plain man, the logistics clerk, stood here covered in enemy blood, and he spoke like it was nothing. She reached out. Her fingers touched his torn sleeve. Why did you not tell me? He looked at her hand. I wanted you to sleep easy. I wanted the peace to last. She pulled her hand back. You think I sleep easy now? He gave no answer. He only walked past her. He went to the small sink in the corner. He washed the blood away slow. Water turned pink, then clear. hands. He looked tired, very tired. Liro followed him. The others left the room quiet. Only they remained. She spoke soft. "Who are you, Elias?" He turned off the water. He faced her. "I am your husband. That is enough for tonight." She wanted to push, she wanted answers, but something in his eyes stopped her. Pain lived there, deep pain, old pain. She nodded slow. "Go clean up," she said. "Rest." He walked to the couch. He pulled the blanket. He lay down. No more words. Liro stood for a long time. She watched him breathe. Even, steady, like nothing happened. But something had happened. Something big. The attack stopped that night. No more rogue ships. No more fires. The border grew quiet again. Whispers started in the halls. People talked low. The human did something. The husband. One. Lirael heard the talk. She said nothing. But she watched him closer now. Every meal, every walk, every night on the couch, she searched for signs. Scars on his arms. Faint lines. Old burns. Knife marks. Patterns no clerk would carry. She saw them now. She wondered. She waited. The seed of doubt grew, mixed with something new. Respect. Maybe fear. Maybe wonder. The peace held stronger, but questions burned brighter. Who slept in her quarters? Who shared her table? Who stopped a war with bare hands? Lirael Voss knew one thing clear. She had married more than a man. She had married a mystery. And mysteries like this one always come back to life when the galaxy needs them most. The palace felt different after that night. Whispers moved through the halls like wind. Servants looked at Elias longer. Guards stood straighter when he passed. Lirael noticed it all. She said nothing, but inside her mind questions grew loud. Who was this man really? Why did his hands know how to kill so clean? Why did he hide it all behind gray clothes and quiet words? She could not ask him direct. He would only say old habits again. She needed truth from other places, so she called her best intelligence officer. A tall Zareth named Torv. He had sharp eyes and no fear of secrets. She met him in a small room deep under the palace. No windows, thick walls, one light above the table. "Sit," she said. "I need everything on Elias Kane. Everything." Torv placed a thin datapad between them. He pushed it toward her. "We looked already, matriarch." Convoy. We dug deep. She touched the pad. It lit up. Files opened. Names, dates, photos. The first file showed Elias at 32. A plain ID photo. New Tacoma colony stamp. Logistics job start date. Before that, nothing. No birth record. No school. No family. No trace. She frowned. How is that possible? Torv leaned forward. Because Elias Kane did not exist before then. The name is new. Clean. Too clean. We cross-checked human databases. Old war files. Blacklists. Bounties. We found something. He swiped the pad. A new file appeared. Red borders. Classified stamp from the human side. High clearance. She ran fast. The name jumped out. Captain Elias Reaper Kane. Spectre Wing Commander. Black Operations. Human Special Forces. Her breath stopped for a second. Every Zareth officer knew that name. Reaper Kane. The ghost who walked through walls. The shadow who killed admirals in locked rooms. The man who took down 3 battle groups from inside. No alarms. No witnesses. Just bodies. And silence. She scrolled down. Photos came next. Younger Elias. Short hair. Hard eyes. Armor black as space. Scars fresh on his arms. The same patterns she saw now. Faded, but there. Torv spoke low. He infiltrated our high command. 3 times. First time he poisoned Fleet Lord Drax. Second time he rigged explosives on the Dreadnought Vengeance. Third time He boarded the superweapon platform at Korath. He planted the charge himself, walked out before it blew. The yard vanished, 10,000 dead. We put the biggest bounty in history on him, alive preferred. We wanted him to scream, spread in her chest. And then he vanished. Torv nodded. 5 years ago. He flew a suicide run into our core fortress at Thalor. No one came back. We celebrated. Humans mourned their legend. They said he was gone, but he was not gone. He changed his face a little, changed his name, took a quiet job on New Tacoma, grew food, fixed machines, read books, lived like a normal man, until the marriage. Lirael stared at the last photo. Elias in civilian clothes, smiling small at a market. No armor, no blood, just a man buying fruit. She closed the pad. Her hand shook a little. Torv watched her. What do we do, matriarch? She stood up. Nothing. We do nothing. He raised one brow. He is dangerous. He is my husband, she said, and he stopped the attacks. He could have killed more. He chose not to. Nothing. He only bowed and left. Lirael stayed in the room alone. She thought about the couch, the books, the calm voice, the blood on his knuckles. She thought about the vows, the union, the peace. She had married the most feared human in Dominion history, and he let her think he was nothing. She walked back to their quarters slow. The halls felt longer tonight. Elias sat on the balcony. He read under the twin suns. An old Earth book. Thick pages. Worn cover. He looked up when she stepped out. Good evening, he said. She stood beside him. Wind moved her hair. She looked at the stars. You read a lot, she said. Helps me sleep, he answered. She sat in the other chair. Close but not touching. What do you read tonight? Old stories, he said, about men who fought too long, then stopped. She nodded slow. Like you. Book, gentle. Maybe. She turned to him. Her eyes searched his face. I know who you are. He did not flinch. He only looked back. Quiet. Waiting. Reaper Kane, she said soft. Captain of Spectre Wing. The ghost. The legend. He breathed out slow. Yes. No lie. No excuse. Just yes. She felt anger rise, mixed with something else. Why did you hide it? Why let me think you were small? He looked at the stars again. Because I was tired. The war took everything. Friends, family, sleep, hope. I wanted out. I wanted quiet. When they asked me to marry, I said yes, because it meant peace. Real peace, not just a pause. I thought if I stayed quiet, you would never need to know. She stared at him. You killed thousands. You walked into our ships. You ended lives. He nodded. I did. Hated every second. But I did it to save my people. Then I stopped. I buried it. I became Elias. Just Elias. She felt tears burn her eyes. She blinked them away. You could have told me. He shook his head small. If I told you, you would see Reaper, not me. I wanted you to see me. The man who takes the couch, the man who reads at night, the man who wants the war gone. She stood up. She walked to the railing. She gripped the metal tight. You are a legend. To my people you are death. To yours you are hero. And you chose silence. He stood beside her, not too close. I chose you, he said. The peace, the chance. She turned to him. Her voice broke a little. What if they find out? What if the council learns? He smiled small. They will learn one day, but until then, I stay Elias, your husband. His eyes. No fear there. Only truth. She reached out. Her fingers touched his scar, the old line on his arm. He did not pull away. She traced it slow. You carried this alone. He covered her hand with his. Not alone anymore. She felt warmth spread. Not anger now, not fear, something new. Trust, maybe more. She stepped closer. Her head rested on his shoulder. He stood still. He let her stay. The stars watched above. The galaxy waited below. The legend slept quiet for now. But Lyrael knew, secrets like this never stay buried forever. One day the past would rise. One day the Reaper would wake. And when that day came, she would stand beside him, not as enemy, not as stranger, but as wife. The peace held, but the truth grew closer, step by step, night by night, and in the quiet quarters, on the couch, he still chose. A living legend rested, waiting for the moment. The galaxy forced his hand again. The fragile peace cracked wide open one clear morning. Alarms screamed through the palace. Red lights flashed on every screen. A new voice boomed from the speakers. Warlord Keth Varn appeared on all channels. Tall Zareth with black armor and burning eyes. He stood on the bridge of his flagship. Behind him, ranks of warships filled the void. He spoke to both empires. The marriage is false, he declared. The matriarch sold our honor. The human is a trick. We reject this union. We march on Earth. We will take the human homeworld. We will end the insult with fire. We will execute Lyrael Voss and her false husband, in public, for all to see. The feed cut. Silence fell heavy. Then panic rose fast. Council chambers filled in minutes. Admirals shouted. Generals barked orders. Ships scrambled to defensive lines. Human leaders called from distant worlds. Voices shook. We must fight. We cannot lose Earth. Lyrael stood at the head of the table. Her face stayed stone. She listened to the chaos. She felt the weight press down. The peace she bought with her marriage, now shattered. She looked across the room. Elias sat quiet in his usual chair. Gray shirt, calm hands folded. He met her eyes. No fear showed, only steady resolve. The room argued on. Plans flew, fleets moved, defenses rose. Then Elias stood. The voices died slow. All eyes turned to him. He spoke clear and even. Let me handle Varn. A human admiral laughed sharp. You, the quiet clerk, you will stop an invasion fleet? Others joined the laugh. Mocking sounds filled the air. Lyrael raised one hand. Silence fell again. She looked at Elias. You are sure? He nodded once. I am sure. Face. The legend looked back. Not the clerk, the Reaper. She turned to the council. Give him what he needs. One ship, one pilot. No questions. The room erupted again. Protests rose. She cut them off with a glare. He stopped the rogues before. He can stop this. If he fails, we fight anyway. No one argued more. They cleared a path. Elias walked out. Lyrael followed him to the hangar. A small courier ship waited. Fast, light. No guns listed. No armor heavy. He climbed the ramp. She stopped him at the door. Come back, she said. He looked down at her. I will try. She grabbed his arm. Not try. Come back. He covered her hand with his. I promise to try hard. He stepped inside. The ramp closed. The ship lifted silent. It slipped into the black. Lyrael watched it go. Her chest felt tight. Returned to the command center. Screens showed the armada. Hundreds of ships. Warlord Varn at the front. They burned toward human space, toward Earth. Hours dragged slow. No word came. Scouts reported nothing. Sensors stayed blind. Then small flashes appeared. One Zareth frigate went dark. No explosion, just gone. Another followed, then 3 more. Reports trickled in. Engines failed inside ships. Life support cut. Bridges vented air. Crew panicked. Ships turned on each other. Friendly fire lit the void. Confusion spread fast. Varn screamed orders. His voice cracked on open channels. Find the intruder. Kill him. But no one found anything. More ships died. Silent. Clean. Impossible. Lyrael watched the screens. Her hands clenched. Pride mixed with fear. The legend worked. Alone. Dark. Days passed. The armada shrank. From hundreds to dozens. Varn's flagship stayed last. Biggest, strongest, heavily guarded. Then it went quiet too. No signal, no scream, just black. The fleet scattered. Some surrendered, some fled. The invasion stopped. Earth stayed safe. Lyrael waited. Breath held. Then a small blip appeared on sensors. One courier ship, damaged, limping home. It docked slow. The ramp opened. Elias stepped out. His suit torn in many places. Blood on his face. Blood on his hands. He limped, but he walked. He carried a data crystal. Small, red. He entered the command center. Everyone stared. He placed the crystal on the table. Varn is dead, he said. The fleet scattered. The rest surrendered. Simple words. No boast. He looked at Lyrael. I did not want you to know. I wanted peace. Real peace. She stepped forward. She touched his cheek. Blood smeared on her fingers. You kept your promise. He nodded, tired. I tried. She pulled him close. Armor against torn cloth. He rested his head on her shoulder. For a moment, just a moment, the room stayed silent. Admirals watched. Generals watched. No one spoke. Then cheers rose slow. First one voice, then many. They cheered the human, the husband, the legend. Lyrael held him tighter. She felt his heartbeat. Strong, steady. She whispered low. You ended it. He pulled back gentle. I ended one threat. Others may come. But for now, we have time. She smiled small. First real smile in days. Time is enough. Guards helped him to medical. He waved them off. I can walk. But he let them support him. Walked beside. Hand in his. The palace halls felt lighter. The war drums stopped. The galaxy breathed again. News spread fast. Warlord dead. Fleet broken. Peace saved. Not by armies. Not by fleets. By one man. Who chose the couch. Who read old books. Who married to stop blood. And fought when he had to. Lyrael sat with him later. In their quarters. He lay on the bed, this time. Not the couch. Bandages covered his arms. His face clean now. She sat beside him. You could have died. He looked at her. I could have. But I thought of you. Of the peace. Of what we built. She leaned down. Her lips touched his forehead. Soft. Gentle. Thank you. He closed his eyes. Rest came slow. She watched him sleep. The legend rested. Wounds fresh. But alive. The galaxy knew now. Some feared him. More. Some respected him more. All knew one truth. Never push a human too far. Especially one who chose quiet. Until the quiet broke. Lyrael stood at the window. Stars shone bright. Twin suns set slow. She thought of the future. Of days without war. Of nights without fear. She thought of him. Elias. Reaper. Husband. She smiled to the dark. The breaking point passed. The peace held stronger now. Forged in fire. Sealed in blood. And carried by a man who wanted nothing more than to rest beside the woman he married to stop the war. The twin suns rose over Epsilon Verge and painted the palace in warm gold. The war was over. Not paused, not fragile. Over. No more rogue fleets. No more invasion calls. No more screams in the black. The splinter groups knelt one by one. Their leaders sent messages of surrender. They bowed to the marriage they once mocked. They bowed to the man who broke their strongest fleet alone. Stories spread fast across the stars. Humans told them with pride. Zareth told them with quiet respect. The human who ended wars before they started. The human who chose a quiet life over glory. The human who married an enemy to save both sides. And when pushed too far, he rose again. Lirael walked the palace halls. People stepped aside. Some smiled. Some saluted. Some whispered his name. Reaper, Elias, husband. She reached their quarters. The door opened. Eyes. Then he took her hand. Fingers laced slow. Warmth spread between them. They stood like that a long time. Watched the suns climb. Watched the world breathe free. Later in the council room, voices stayed even. No shouts, no blame. Human admirals sat beside Zareth generals. They spoke of future, of shared space, of children who would grow up without war. Elias sat beside Lirael. He spoke when asked. Short words, clear ideas. No one laughed now. They listened. They nodded. When the treaties were signed, hands clasped across the table. Old enemies became partners. The room filled with quiet cheers. Lirael stood. She raised her glass. To peace, she said. To the man who made it possible. Eyes turned to Elias. He stayed seated. He looked embarrassed, but he raised his glass too. To peace, he said. Answered. Simple. True. That night they walked the gardens. Flowers glowed under moonlight. Air smelled sweet. She stopped under a tall tree. Leaves moved soft above. She turned to him. You could have been king, she said. You could have taken power, led armies, built empires. He shook his head. I never wanted that. I wanted this. Quiet nights, a home, someone to share it with. She touched his cheek. You have it now. He covered her hand. I know. They kissed then. First time. Slow, gentle, full of everything they held back. War, blood, silence, secrets, all melted away. Only them remained. Husband, wife, two people who chose each other when the galaxy gave no other path. Years passed. The joint capital grew. New buildings rose. Human and Zareth worked side by side. In parks. Some with silver hair. Some with dark. All laughed the same. Elias taught classes sometimes. Old Earth stories. Poems. Tales of knights and lost ships. Young ones listened wide-eyed. They called him teacher, not legend. He liked that. Lirael ruled with steady hand. She consulted him always. He never sought the light. But when she needed wisdom, he gave it quiet. One evening, many years later, they stood on the same balcony. Hair touched with gray now, hands still laced. The twin suns set slow. Stars woke one by one. She leaned against him. Do you regret it, she asked? Marrying me? Stopping the war? Letting the legend out again? He thought a moment. No, he said, I would do it all again. For peace, for you. She smiled. Good, because I would too. Story. Some ended happy. Some in fire. Theirs ended happy. A human and a Zareth. Bound by choice. Bound by love. Bound by a past that tried to break them, but could not. Somewhere in the galaxy, old soldiers told tales around campfires. They spoke of Reaper Cain, the ghost who vanished, then returned, and vanished again into quiet life. They spoke with awe. Never underestimate a human, they said, especially one who chooses peace, until the galaxy forces his hand. Lirael heard those tales sometimes. She smiled each time, because she knew the truth. The legend was not the killer, not the shadow, not the reaper. The legend was the man who read books on the couch, who washed blood from his hands and went back to silence, who loved her enough to fight one last time, and then stop forever. She squeezed his hand. He squeezed back. Stars burned bright. The war stayed gone, the peace stayed real, and in the quiet of their shared life, two legends lived simple, happy, together, forever.